What's going on, guys? This is Mark here with Anastacio, bringing you guys another solo Filipino martial arts training video, especially for us that are still under quarantine or if you're doing some self-isolation. Hopefully you guys are all safe during this sensitive time. And I just want to say thank you guys for tuning into this channel and all the videos. Your support means so much. And on the other side, I hope my videos can help you guys keep up your skills during this sensitive time. And if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you check out all the other solo videos, all the other training videos. Hopefully you guys can take something and add it to your arsenal of skills. If you guys have been watching these videos, then hopefully you guys have watched the empty hand flow that I did not too long ago. And in that video, I talked a lot about visualization, which is honestly, I think, an essential part to training, being able to visualize yourself in particular situations to help you guys fine-tune your kind of generic techniques and make it make sense in an application or in an applicable setting that you may or may not end up in. Now, with that being said, I do know that a lot of us don't have that ability to visualize yet because we don't have the skills. We didn't get the reps in. Maybe you just started training in Filipino martial arts and it's just not in your skill set yet, which is completely understandable. So what I've done today is I've created my makeshift quarantine training partner. Super simple. I'm sure you guys can make up something just as good, if not better, depending on your resources. Basically what I've done is I've taken my Wave Master that you guys might have seen in my other videos. I brought it to about a shoulder width to head level height. And I took one of my padded sticks made out of foam. Doesn't have to be padded, it could be a live stick. And I just taped it on the top from about what we call the handle point down so I have more space to work. And I'm going to show you guys a couple of things that you can use, but basically this is going to simulate that right hand cross, which is a very, very common setup in our empty hand curriculum. So the first thing I wanted to show you guys is what we call the block check counters. Now this can range from a generic 3 count to a compressed 2 count, 1 count, and it can even expand into as many counts as you need. But basically when you think about block check counter, you're following the principle of application in Anastacio, which is preservation, position, control, domination. So first and foremost, you got to make sure that you're safe. You got to make sure that you're not going to get hit so that you can start working in your techniques. So step number 1 is our block. Now we're not necessarily blocking it and stopping it. A lot of our empty hand are parries. Okay, just to keep that in mind. So we're kind of off-angling it or redirecting it. So in our curriculum that I teach here with all my students online, Anastacio, as well as at Union Martial Arts, we have on the outside angle, which is pretty much, if you're looking at the right hand cross, is going to the outside of the shoulder. And then we have the inside angle, which is going towards the body. And we have 2 major sets, starting with the left hand or starting with the right hand. And basically those 2 sets can be mimicked on the inside just by alternating the order. I'll show you how that works in a bit. So we're going to start just so that we have kind of a pattern and can help us keep track of what we're doing. We always start on the left side with the left hand. So the left side right now would be on the outside, and then of course my left hand would be my starting position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to block, or rather parry with my left hand, palm facing that cross. And as I do that, I want to change my position from being straight, squared up to my target, to a 90-degree where my chest is facing the side of my partner's fist, or my target's fist in this case. So I'm going to block, and then I'm going to do what we call a fan. This is going to be our check. So I take my opposite hand right now. It goes to my same side shoulder. It's going to run down the shoulder, and I'm going to check. Normally when you check, you can slap the person's arm, you can grab it, you can hack it, depending on what you're going to apply. And what we're checking is we're checking the resistance, the energy. Did my block work? Did I send it too far off that I can't train or I can't work off this arm? Did I not block it enough and it's still coming into my body? There's a lot of things that we're trying to check for. So it's very hard to just block and attack, because if you consider your opponent to have a relative amount of skill, if I just block and I decide to attack here, this arm is nice and free again. So who's to say that they're not going to block my strike? And it becomes a game of I block, you strike. You strike, I block. And then a little bit of luck, a little bit of fatigue, and whack, you get hit. So we want to be able to check and try to control that situation, neutralize it as best as we can, because that check will lead into so many different options. So we're going block with the left hand, fanning with our right hand to check, and this is one particularly is more of a slap and grab. So I'm going to slap and grab because I want to try to pull my opponent towards me to create almost a crashing effect. So that crash is going to be into my counter, which is where my right hand now has contact. So now I can release my left hand. So if you notice, I've always had contact going down the technique. So once I get all the way over here, normally I would check as I pull, almost like I'm ripping something open, and I smash that into my partner's face, to their eardrum, the eyes, the nose. But because I have a bag, I'm just going to hit underneath and give my counter down here. So that counter is going to work on my control. It's going to help me ensure my position, and then from there I can hopefully start to dominate if possible. Okay, so once again, that's going to be left hand. Right hand fans underneath. Left hand, it's going to counter. We're going horizontal. Okay, so that's the first one on the outside. We switch it over. Still on the outside, but this time we're starting with the right hand. So we're going to go about wrist to wrist here, okay? I'm going to almost feel like I'm creating a barrier between us. So it's going to be right hand. Left hand is going to check, just a natural slap. And basically I want to either drive that into my partner's chest, I want to drive it down, or just make sure that I'm sending signals to my opponent that they can't lift that hand because I've created resistance on top. Okay, so the only safe place it can go, or the path of least resistance, is going down, and that's further away from where I want to hit, which is literally right up here, towards their face. Again, it doesn't have to be the face. I can use a block check counter, go for the body, block check, use my legs, whatever it is you guys want. Okay, so it's right, left. I'd usually keep this hand here, but because I'm going to the body, I'm going to take it away, and I'm just going to palm strike down with my right hand. So we take those two, and now we flip it to the inside angle. Okay, so generally on the outside angle, I have a lot more freedom to move. On the inside angle, I'm either here because I need to engage into a more grappling-esque position, or maybe I just didn't have timing on my side and I have to work from here. Generally from here, a lot of the times, is where the looping strikes come in, the hooks, the haymakers, and then I can't really get that outside angle because they're already consuming it. So again, we're starting on the inside angle, we're starting from the left side, so we're going to use our left hand first. So our left, right, left is the exact same as the past drill, the right, left, right, but we're just alternating our hands. So same concept, I have my left hand about wrist to wrist, right hand's going to check, and normally again I go up, but I can go down to the body as well. Particularly on the inside, I don't really like following this rule because you can see my shoulders are going to cross, and that doesn't allow me to get full extension into my power, and sometimes in grappling that can be a really, really bad situation for me. So the two ways I like to kind of switch this up is I either increase a step or I substitute a step. So instead of a 3 count, I have a 4 count. I have my left, I have my right, and then I'm going to take this right hand, I'm going to frame, and then my left hand will counter. So I'm going left, right, right, left. So one more time, it's going to be left, right, that's a block check, frame, counter. Okay, the other ways I just substitute it, I'm going to go left, right, and rather than going left and following the alternating rule or the alternating pattern here, I'm going to use same hand, left, right, right hand again. And notice my left hand stays up because that's going to be kind of my safety hand. I'm going to protect my eyes. I'm going to make sure it's ready just in case I need to check again, I need to grab, I need to frame, so on and so forth. So either we're going left, right, right, left, or we're going left, right, right. Okay? Now, last but not least, we have our right, left, right on the inside, which is the exact same thing as left, right, left on the outside with the slap and grab. So we're going to go right, palm facing the inside, fanning underneath, slap and grab, going horizontal, striking with our right hand. So again, that's going to be block, check, counter. Okay? So that's the first one. That's generally one of the first things students learn in Filipino martial arts. Next thing we're going to look at is what we call shielding. So shielding is most likely going to be a defensive technique. But depending on your angle, depending on the timing, it could be a counter-offensive technique. And that's what we're going to work on here because we're going to take advantage of this setup. So on the inside shield, which is more so the one you'll find using for a defensive purpose, if the timing is right, if we have the ability to check and feed the punch into our shield, that's where we can get kind of this little strike. So what I'm doing is I'm feeding this punch into my shield, and with the shield I want to create it, and with my elbow I want to hit up. Okay, so it's kind of like a swipe. And generally where that's going to hit is going to either hit on the inside of the bicep, it's going to hit the crazy bone, it's going to hit somewhere on the forearm, wherever I can possibly get, and that's going to hopefully get like that neutralizing feeling, that little strike where their hand's going to kind of relax a little bit, and then I take advantage from there. So on the inside, what I'm using is just my right lead. Sometimes if you want to practice it from a further distance, you can use your female triangle or 45-degree step to get into that position. That's a strong hit up. Doesn't have to be completely strong where you lose your balance or anything, but make sure you're not just flowing through it and just combing back your hair with your hands. Okay? That has to be a little bit more up here. Okay, and then from there you can come back down with an elbow, you can go horizontal with an elbow, so on and so forth. On the outside, this is more so the counter offensive. It's a very, very fine line, but it's the exact same thing. This time I'm stepping with my left foot, I'm using my left hand to feed it to my right shield, and then I hit on the outside here. And generally what I like to do from here is I like to strike up top to the head with that same hand. I like to wrap over, I like to go straight down, and it's just kind of like a sliding, glancing strike, a little bit more of a creative way to use the shield. Okay? All while, of course, protecting your head. Now the last thing on our agenda today is what we call the split entry. So we can't actually do the full entry because I need a little bit more live resistance and there's a lot of different things I need to incorporate. But the split entry kind of initial technique is a parry and a strike at the same time. And it's called the split entry because you are split from inside and outside angles. So you're not just on one side. So if this was the right cross, if I use my 45-degree step to go on the outside, it's going to be a little bit more compressed. I'm taking my left hand and I'm trying to slip like I'm doing a boxing bob and weave type of motion. And I'm also going to parry this over my shoulder just for safety. All while I do that, my right hand's coming in and I'm either going to smash into the face so I can hit the eye jab, hit the nose, smash the head back. I can use this as a strike into the body. I can use it even going to a low line if I really wanted to. But all that's happening at the same time. So it's very important that if you are using the setup that you do allow majority of the stick out here so you can simulate that positional change. Okay, because if you split entry from here, you're not going to get nearly as close as you need to make sure that your inside hand, the jamming hand that's going to be attacking, actually serves a little bit more purpose. So you're going to slip and get just enough that you can get that fist over your shoulder, and then you're going to be able to, have a significant impact here if necessary. And if we look at it on the other side, if this was the left cross, it's the exact same thing, but mirrored. Using my right foot to step to the outside, my right hand's going to be parrying, slipping, dipping my left shoulder towards the right as my left hand comes up and jams inside there. Okay, so we have the block check counters, we have the shielding in a counter-offensive method, and we also have our split entry. So hopefully you guys were able to train and use a setup like this. If you guys did, make sure you hashtag Anastacio, post it on Instagram or Facebook, show me what you guys got. And honestly guys, I'm just super proud that you guys have been able to take at least something from here. And if you do want to continue training with me, Anastacio online access is available, basic and premium access. What's included in that will be all on the website, so make sure you guys definitely check that out. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and until next time, I'll catch you guys then.